Hey everyone, this is Bill from Fit and 50 Plus. It's been quite a while, over a year since my last post. I thought I'd get back into it. It's the winter time, I've got more time on my hands, and so I thought, what a better way to start than with the Garmin Venu. This is a watch that came out several months ago. It was announced back in September. But we think that perhaps the Chinese trade agreement may have slowed down the actual release. A lot of places didn't get this until just recently, the past month or so. I was able to pick this up at Best Buy. Best Buy seemed to have the inside line on it, and I was able to pick this up at Best Buy. I've had it for about 2.5 months, and this is going to be a very brief review of this watch, because if you've seen any of the reviews regarding the vivoactive 4, which came out at about the same time, basically it's an identical watch except for the AMOLED display panel. So what makes this one great? If you're like me and you've had a lot of different tech over the past couple of years as things have progressed, you might have had an Apple Watch, you might have had one of the Samsung Galaxy watches, and you've always probably been a little bit envious of the beautiful displays those devices had, and not being present on the actual Garmin devices. You've always wanted to have some type of combination where you had Garmin's sports genius and the Apple and Samsung display all in one package. Well, let me tell you right here and right now, this is the device that has all that. And not only does it have the brains of the vivoactive 4, but it also has, as you can see, an always-on display, which is something that I think everybody is striving for right now. One of the things that I really wanted to touch upon was the actual watch faces that are available in the Connect IQ store on Garmin. There are a bunch of watches, not as many as some of the others, but if you've got some of the favorites, if you've owned previous watches, there are quite a few that have made the transition over to the Venu, and they really look strong. I mean, I think that on most of the videos that I've seen, the stock watch faces are what are being shown, but in reality, I think most people want to know what some of their classics or their favorites from previous watches look like. You know, you've got stuff like this. Don't know the name of this one right off the top of my head, but beautiful watch face. I will post the details in the description below to give the developer credit, of course. But you can get literally pages of different vivid colored watch faces, and you know, rather than go through the actual process of showing you everything that this thing can do, just know that this is the minor version, the more multi-sport version of Garmin's watches. This isn't something that is going to be for the purist in terms of like triathlons. That would be like the 945, or even the purist in terms of running, which would be like the 645 or the 245. This is truly a multi-sport watch. I have the slate version, and it looks great in all contexts. The band that you see here is something that I got as a third-party band from Amazon. It works great for me. The actual band that came with the watch is very comfortable as well. But it's fully customizable as far as this watch face is concerned. And you know, you're really going to get a lot of variable uses. The one thing I do like about this also is that this actually has Garmin's golf activity that's built into it, which means that this is a true golfing watch. You can do shot-to-shot tracking, scorecard tracking, all that type of thing. Anything you would get in one of the Garmin watches, you know, drive distance, all that type of stuff, is an activity that actually is native to the watch that you can use. So truly a tremendous device as far as the flexibility and the diversity is concerned. So as far as the watch faces that are concerned, I mean, I'm just going to flip through a couple of the ones that I have installed just so you can see them. Here's the main one that I like to use the most. Let's see here. Let's go back. I mean, as you can see, quite a diversity. Lots of vivid colors. They all look great. Here's one of the stock watch faces. And like I said, I'm constantly changing them out just because, hey, that's the reason you get an AMOLED display, because you want to show off that display, right? Now, as far as the accuracy and the tracking is concerned, I find this to track very accurately. No difference between any of the other Garmin watches I've ever used. Heart rate is pretty good depending upon the sport. If you're doing running, jogging, swimming, that type of thing, the tracking is fairly accurate. The heart rate, of course, isn't that accurate as far as swimming is concerned, but if you're doing just kind of, what do they call it, steady state cardio, the heart rate tracking is very good. The distance tracking is on par with anything else out there. You're going to get some variation when you're doing activities like weightlifting and strength and that type of thing, where you're flexing your wrist a lot, as everybody else has already said. But overall, the tracking accuracy is going to be right on par with any other Garmin watch that you can buy, including the higher end, much more expensive watches like the 945 and the Phoenix series. Battery life is something that people ask me about all the time, and I have to say that this device, in comparison to any of the other AMOLED displays like the Fitbit displays, the Polar watches, the Samsung watches, the battery life on this is better than anything out there. I can do 3 days of constant use, and that includes an hour and a half every day of doing a GPS tracked run, strength training in addition to that, and I can still have 10 to 15% battery left. So I know I work out and I do a lot more than most people, but if you were a typical exerciser, say where you did one workout a day, maybe it wasn't always GPS tracked. And those GPS trackings that I do are with music playing at the same time, because like I said, or actually like I didn't say, but like I meant to say, this actually pairs with Bluetooth headphones, and you can listen to music. It's got Spotify, Amazon Music, and a whole bunch of others built in, which makes the workout go by so much faster. I listen to music, have GPS on, and do an hour and a half outdoor, workout at least 7 times a week, 6 times a week maybe. And the battery on this will go at least to the 4th day where I have to charge it. So like I said, typical use, I would say it would not surprise me to see most people getting 4 or 5 days out of this easy, which is a heck of a lot more than you would see on, say, the Samsung watch or the Apple Watch. Finally, what do I use this watch for? Well, this is kind of my daily trainer comparison to my daily trainer running shoes, or something to that effect. I use this just as my daily average watch that I want when I'm going out at lunchtime for a run, that type of thing. I have a Garmin 945, and I'll use that watch for my races. I tend to do a lot of longer races, ultra marathons, that type of thing. And in a race context, especially in the Northeast in the winter, I like to have buttons. This has 2 buttons, as you can see, which really makes a difference, because you got a start-stop button up here on the top, and then you got the lap button or the back button on the bottom, which is way better than what was out there on the Vivo Active 3, where it only had that singular button. But I like to, when I'm out there on a race, have all button functionality, so I'll use the 945 for my races, just because, you never know if you're going to have gloves on, if it's going to be cold, if it's going to be wet, that type of thing. So the battery life is a little bit better on that 945 as well, so I want to be sure that it's going to last through an ultra marathon or something like that. But in general, for a daily trainer, that's what I use this for. Like I said, it's got the music built in, the battery life itself, even using it as a daily trainer type watch is great, and I really could not recommend this highly enough. As far as Garmin is concerned, they hit a home run with their first shot out of the, first shot at this type of display, and I'm looking forward to see what they do in the future. Maybe it'll come to the 945, maybe it'll come to the Phoenix series. It wouldn't surprise me to see them come out with something like this, especially if they can maintain a battery life as successfully as they have with the Garmin Venu. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. I'll be sure to reply to them. Give it a thumbs up if you would like. I tend to like to do comparisons, so maybe I'll compare this to the 945 directly so you can get a look at the different displays and whatnot. But otherwise, thank you for being so patient with me. It's been a long time, and hopefully I'll be posting more videos soon. Thank you. Have a great day. This is Bill from Fit and 50 Plus.